Hi, I'm Mateo, and today I'm going to be going over the top 6 best AoE units right now in anime Vanguards. Like in all tower defense games, AoE is super important because it allows one unit to hit a large amount of enemies at once. So in anime Vanguards, it is no different, with AoE characters being some of the best units in the game currently. So in today's video, I hope to clear up some of the confusion and allow you guys to know which AoE units you should be using inside your team in anime Vanguards. And if this video does help you out, remember to give it a like and subscribe for more helpful anime Vanguards content. I just started this channel not too long ago, so your support goes a very long way. So thank you guys for that. Let's get straight into this tier list. Alright you guys, so keep in mind all 6 of the units on this tier list are not bad in any way. This is just a tier list, so we are gonna have to put some very good units on the lower side of this list, which pains me to say number 6 on this tier list of the best AoE units currently in anime Vanguards is going to be Toji over here. Now, as you can see, Toji is actually the cheapest AoE unit in the game. I actually have the numbers. Let me check really quickly. The cost to get the AoE move on Toji is only a mere 23,000 gold, which is actually the cheapest by far. There are no other units in the game that are anywhere close to this cheap to get AoE. Now, by no means is Toji a bad character. He is actually very good. Upon getting Evo, the reason why Toji is so good is because he actually removes shields on hit. So if basically all of these units that are in his range had shields, upon the AoE hit, he would remove all of the shields instantly and then do additional damage to them, which is so good for things like Paragon, where you will be selecting a ton of additional shields for your enemies. Toji basically negates all of that. Now, even though he is the cheapest of the AoE units in the game currently, he also is so low in damage at his AoE form, because if I go ahead and upgrade him to upgrade 7, you'll see that he loses his AoE ability. So for that reason is why I can't justify ranking him any higher in this tier list, because he is going to do the least amount of damage of everybody in this tier list. So overall, a great unit, but just not the best compared to all of these other AoE units we're about to go over. Now, next up at number 5 on this tier list is going to be Chozo. Now, Chozo is another one of these units that really pains me to put him this low on the tier list, because I absolutely love him and he is an amazing unit. If we go over and spectate him here, you could see him in action. As you can see, his effects are absolutely sick as well. Now, the beautiful thing about Chozo that no other unit on this tier list does except for Alucard is the fact that he inflicts bleed, which is very good for a number of reasons. Besides just doing damage over time, bleed is really good because it actually stops the health regen of enemies and bosses. Health regen is absolutely broken in this game and sometimes can be the reason why you might lose a very hard run. So Chozo's ability to do AoE damage to everybody in his zone and completely stop that regen is absolutely crazy. Now, he does have a pretty low damage as well, sitting at just 13,000, but he does have a pretty good SPA. He also does do additional damage to bleeding units, which is very good. So for that reason is why he is going to be number 5 on this list. He is still very good, but of course there are a few other units that are just that much better, which puts him at number 5 on this list. Alright you guys, so number 4 on this list is actually going to be the second cheapest AoE unit we have today. So here we have Tengen, whose AoE ability only costs about 55,000 gold, which in the grand scheme of things is very cheap for an AoE unit, and he does a load of damage as well on top of that. As you can see, his damage right here is 23,000, and then his passive ability also allows him to do additional damage to enemies he's already attacked before. So for a unit with pretty low SPA and an amazing range, that is a very good thing. Tengen is very good and has some of the highest DPS in the game, and all of that combined with how cheap he is to actually get his AoE move is just absolutely insane. Obviously this is him maxed out, but overall still a very good unit and is definitely going to be a part of a lot of people's teams just for how cheap of an AoE unit he is combined with the fact that he has some of the highest DPS in the game. All right, you guys, so number 3 on this list is actually going to be one of my favorites as well. There's honestly so many good AoE units in the game that it really hurts to place some of these as low as they are. But number 3 on this is going to be Igris. As you can see, here is Igris in his full capabilities at max rank. Now, in order to get Igris to AoE, he's going to cost 64,000 gold. So compare that to Tengen's 55,000. It's only 9,000 more, but in the grand scheme of things, he actually is doing less damage overall, which is another negative towards him. Now, there are a couple redeeming factors over here if we go into his passives. The first of those being the additional 25% damage to a boss, which is a very big deal. He is an absolute boss killer, which is the #1 thing that most people use and why he's going to be in so many people's lineups. The second thing in his passive that makes him so good is the fact that he's immune to stun. So this is very good on PvE maps where the maps are like continuously stunning your units. Igris is going to be immune to that, so he's going to be able to power through and absolutely destroy everybody in his area with his AoE. And then his third passive ability is a buff that he gets from the mythic Sung Jin Woo when he uses his special ability that summons shadows. Igris is going to get an additional 10% range and 20% additional damage for 100 seconds, which is a pretty big deal overall. All of that comes together to make Igris a very strong unit, especially against bosses, and combined with some other units in the game, he gets even stronger, which is absolutely insane. Igris is going to be that unit if you are looking for something that is going to do immense damage to bosses. So for that reason is why he is number 3 on this list and a very good overall AoE unit. Now, number 2 on this tier list is actually going to be a unit that I cannot show you because I don't have him, and that's going to be Alucard. Now, hopefully I do get him soon. I'm about to do a massive opening, and hopefully we finally get him. I'm already 500,000 gems deep and I haven't got him quite yet. Now, Alucard is another very good AoE damaging unit that actually inflicts bleed like Chozo. Now, Alucard is also a very good support unit as well because he inflicts wounded upon his enemies, which allows them to take 20% more damage. So this could be very good for like tournament runs, for example, where you need to do a lot of damage. He essentially increases damage for all of your units by 20% if he is able to inflict that AoE bleed damage to them, which makes him just such a good unit overall. I've watched a number of videos of people using him and going over his abilities, and I think I can soundly say that he is the number 2 best AoE unit currently in Anime Vanguards. Now, after I go over this number 1 unit on this list, we do have a special mention unit that is also a pretty good AoE, so make sure you stick around for that. But number 1 on this list is going to be the GOAT himself, Gojo. So here is Gojo. As you can see, a whopping 40,000 damage he does, and with his last move gives him this massive AoE circle that does a ridiculous amount of damage to everybody in his area. That combined with the fact that he has this active ability called Void, which freezes everybody in his circle and then allows him to do an additional 50% damage, is absolutely insane. So really quickly, when these enemies go in, I'll show you an example of him using this ability. So if we go ahead and freeze, you can see he absolutely obliterates everybody in this area due to these moves. I'm pretty sure Gojo is just the best overall character in the game right now. In order to get Gojo's first AoE move, he is going to cost a whopping 72,500 gold, which is, I'm pretty sure, the most expensive of everybody on this list. I think I forgot to mention it earlier, but Chozo's AoE price is 70,500. So Gojo is about 2,000 more than that, and he is absolutely worth every penny. Now, in order to get Gojo, you just have to get his mythic form and then go ahead and evolve him, which turns him into the secret Gojo, which is absolutely crazy. Inside his passives, you can see he's also immune to status ailments, which is very good as well. And all of that comes together to make Gojo the overall best AoE unit in the game and probably just the best general unit because he has that freezing active ability on top of the most damage. There's really nothing he can't do. If you are in a pinch and you are getting overrun, you can just simply go ahead and turn on his ability, freeze everybody, and then absolutely obliterate them. Now, this tier list is not over because we actually have one more special mention. Now, the special mention on this list is actually gonna be Jogo. So here is Jogo. He is a burn unit who is actually pretty good overall. As you can see at max, he does 19,000 damage, has a 7-second SPA, and then 41.3 range. Now, his last move is clearly not a full AoE move, but when you go ahead and activate his active ability Iron Coffin, this is actually what turns him into a full AoE character. So if we activate this, you'll see that his attacks will start hitting everybody in this circle. Now, the only stipulation is that this pretty much only lasts for about 15 seconds, it seems. So he really isn't a full AoE character, which is why I didn't really put him on this list. But overall, he is still very good, especially if you need a unit that does burn. He also does additional damage to units that are burning when he is in that form, which is very good if you combine it with a different character like Rengoku, for example, that also applies burn. He will be absolutely shredding through enemies, and that is why he is the special mention on this tier list. If this video did help you out to figure out which AoE unit you should be using for your team, make sure to give it a like and subscribe for more. Hope to see you guys in the next one, and peace out.